Oftentimes, it is said that the people do not just get freedom, they must consciously agitate and demand for it. Bearing this in mind, we'll be looking at the topic, nationalism. We'll look at how countries demand for their own independence from colonial masters. For the lesson objectives, by the end of this class, you should be able to define nationalism, explain who a nationalist is, identify the various features of nationalism before Second World War, and also state the factors, both internal and external factors, that led to the rise and growth of nationalism in Nigeria. For introduction, British administration in Nigeria was characterized by racial discrimination and marginalization. And there was also open economic exploitation. The British colonists dominated all aspects of Nigeria politically, socially, and even the economic lives of Nigerians. This domination did not go down well with the indigenous people living in Nigeria. Now, what is nationalism? Nationalism is the consciousness and feelings of oneness among a group of people to agitate for freedom or independence. That feelings to agitate for freedom or independence, feeling of oneness. Now let's look at who a nationalist is. A nationalist is an individual who advocates or fights for the independence of a country. An individual. Examples of nationalists include Herbert Macaulay, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obafemi Awolowo, and the host of many others. Nationalists usually adopt various strategies, and some of the strategies adopted by nationalists in Nigeria include newspaper publications, organized protests, boycotts, riots, strike, and a host of many others. Now let's look at the features of nationalism before Second World War. When we say features of nationalism before Second World War, we are looking at the attributes, those attributes of nationalism before the Second World War between 1939 and 1945. One of the features is racial segregation. There was discrimination against the natives, which was witnessed in the 20th century in Nigeria. Such segregation was experienced in the area of maintaining separate residential areas, like government reservation areas for the whites. Now, there is also administrative posts. Nigerians were not happy because they were not allowed to hold an administrative post, and the highest they could attain was that of a chief clerk in the office. So that was one of the features of nationalism before the Second World War. There was also economic exploitation. When we talk of economic exploitation, we are talking of how Nigerians suffer in the hands of the whites economically. There was exploitation of Nigerians by foreign firms. Nigerians get little or nothing at the end of the day, whereas the whites are usually paid. Again, we have harsh treatments. Colonial authority maltreated even the traditional rulers, maltreated virtually everybody. For instance, King Jaja of Ukbobo and Nana of Shekiri. This resulted in native reactions and disregard for the white colonial officers by the natives and opposition to colonial rule. There was lack of educational facilities. The missionaries who were out to provide education did not achieve much due to financial problems and constraints. However, the essence of education at the time was not to produce high-level manpower but basic education that will help the recipients to be able to read and write. There was also the impact of First World War. Remember, First World War took place from 1914 to 1918, and the impact was much in the development of national and political consciousness, and this was due to movements like Pan-Africanism, the struggle for independence in India, and so on. Again, educated Nigerians became critical of the colonial rule and their policies. There was also the emergence of political organizations like the National Congress of British West Africa, the Nigeria Youth Movement, Nigeria National Democratic Party, and so on. For instance, NNDP was the first political party in Nigeria and was formed by Herbert Macaulay. So these organizations were instruments to opposing and resisting colonial rule. There was also mass media like the West African Pilot, Lagos Daily News, which also played vital role in the quest for independence. Now, having looked at the various factors of nationalism before Second World War, let's concentrate on the factors that led to the rise and growth of nationalism in Nigeria. And these factors are usually divided into two: the external factors and then the internal factors. Let's take them one after the other by looking at the first external factors. They include the Atlantic Charter, British Labour Party, colonial posture of United Nations Organization, and then UNO are now against colonialism. The independence of some countries like India made Nigeria to agitate for independence, and then influence of Western and Eastern ideas. Again, we have the superpowers, that is United States, Russia. They were now against colonialism. Activities of Pan-African leaders or organization. Then we have British humiliating defeat by Japan. Japan hugely humiliated Britain, economic depression, and then the impact of Second World War. This played crucial role in the rise and growth of nationalism. Now, the internal factors that led to the rise and growth of nationalism in Nigeria also include activities of educated elites. People that were educated came back and then agitate for freedom. Then trade unions, formation of political parties. We were also having student union. There was also economic exploitation, and that didn't go down well with Nigerians. Also, indirect rule system, which excluded the educated elites, didn't go down well with the people, and thereby demand for freedom. Also, there was establishment of newspapers, return of ex-servicemen, the soldiers that fought First and Second World War realized that the whites were not superhumans. Again, the influence of Christianity also played a vital role. Now, in summary, you must know that nationalism is mostly concerned with the spirit of unity among a people in seeking freedom and political emancipation. You don't just get freedom, you demand for it. For your assignment, define nationalism. Who is a nationalist? State the features of nationalism before Second World War. What are the factors that led to the rise and growth of nationalism in Nigeria? Do these assignments in your notes until we meet again in our next class. Do have a wonderful time to yourself. Goodbye.